Dear students, we are going to see the chapter 6, that is life processes, and in that we have to cover the different systems which are related with the living organisms like nutrition, respiration, excretion, nervous coordination, hormonal coordination. All these systems, they are related with the living beings. So what is the meaning of life processes? As we know that on the earth we find there are living and non-living. Living organisms, they show the locomotion movement. The basic difference is non-living organisms, they do not show the movements. They are static or stationary. But living organisms, they show movements. Some movements are visible as we walk, as we run, as the animals, they run behind the prey. So these are the visible movements. And some movements are there which are invisible, which we cannot see. For example, with naked eyes, the bacteria, we cannot see the movement of bacteria. We cannot see the movement of the internal parts of our body. So these movements, they are either visible or invisible. But in both the conditions, it requires energy. Where from the energy will come? The basic source of energy is sunlight. So it is very essential that this light energy is to be converted into the usable form, because neither plants nor animals, they can work without energy. So the plants, they can trap this energy, they can trap the sunlight and convert it into chemical energy. While animals, they take direct energy from the plants, directly from the plants or plant materials. So the life processes include the different systemic processes, and in that we have to see the portion that is related with the nutrition. As we know, right from bacteria to the largest and evolved organism like humans, they show different kinds of movements and they need energy for that. Except bacteria, except these viruses. Viruses, they can be active only inside the body of some host. So that's why we say that the viruses, they are standing at the threshold of life. That means neither they can be completely included in living nor in a non-living. They are standing at the borderline. They can show the movement, they can show their activities, they can show reproduction only inside the body of the host. While as other organisms, right from bacteria to the humans, they need energy for their body movements. The body is consisting of cells. The cells together, they form the tissues. The tissues together, they form the organs. The organs, different organs, they combine together and form the systems. But the cell is consisting of different kinds of molecules, and these molecules, they show the movements. So there is a constructive and destructive processes which are taking place inside the body, and for all these things there is a need of energy. So basically the source of energy is sunlight, and the sunlight is converted into the chemical energy with the help of the plants in the process of photosynthesis. And these plants, they convert the light energy into chemical energy and store it into the food material. The plants, they utilize this energy for their body activities, for their growth, for flowering, for root movement inside the soil, and The extra, the food material which is not consumed by the plant is stored in the form of starch. So glucose is the primary product of photosynthesis, while starch in plants is the stored form of food material. And animals, they also take the energy by consuming the plant materials and animals. Again, some amount of energy is used in the different kinds of activities, while as remaining amount of the material and energy, that is basically material, is stored in the form of glycogen. In animals, stored form of food material is glycogen. In plants, it is starch. So when the plants and animals, they have to use this food material as a source of energy, that energy which is in the form of chemical energy, because light energy is converted into chemical energy, and that chemical energy is in the form of glucose or starch. But if the plant has to use this energy, it has to be converted into a usable form, that is a kinetic energy. So how it will be used? And for that, the plants respire. So plants, they take in oxygen, and with the help of this oxygen, the stored form of food material, either glucose or starch, will be broken down into simple form, and then the energy will be released, which is stored in ATPs. And these ATPs, which are the energy currency, they will be used by the plants for their activities. Same is the case with the animals. In animals also, when the food material is consumed in the form of plants, animals or animal products, but that material, that food material is in the form of, that energy is in the form of chemical energy. But this chemical energy should be again converted into the kinetic energy. So for that, the animals also respire. So the basic process for the conversion of chemical energy into the usable form, that is the kinetic energy, and store it into the ATPs, the process is the respiration. So another like process, first is nutrition, where we take in the food material, which is a source of energy, and this energy is to be converted into kinetic energy, that is usable form. For that, another like process is respiration. But once this food material is consumed, that food material is to be passed to every cell, because the respiration takes place inside the cells, and that's why we call the respiration as a cellular respiration or cellular oxidation. So this food material which is taken in the digestive system, it is to be transported to each and every cell. So this food is transported to the cell by a system which is called circulation, and the blood is said to be the river of our body. So blood flows throughout our body, and this blood, it takes all the necessary materials to the cells. Along with the materials, blood also carries oxygen to the cell, and this oxygen is carried with the help of the hemoglobin, which is present inside the RBCs. So hemoglobin, it combines with the oxygen, forms the oxyhemoglobin, and this hemoglobin with oxygen, it goes to the cell and releases the oxygen into the cell. With this oxygen, with the food material which is transported through the blood, now the cell will perform the respiration. And here the complex food material will be broken down into simple with the release of energy which is stored in ATP, and that ATP will be used as the energy currency for the body activities. So this is transportation, that is one like process is circulation, which is related with the blood transportation. And now whatever food material you have taken in, it is digested in the digestive system. What about the undigested food? The undigested food, because every cell when it performs the activities, there are two types of processes, anabolic and catabolic. So always there is a generation of waste material. So whatever waste generated in the body, that waste is to be thrown out of the body. Otherwise it will be accumulated inside the body and the body will be toxic. So these waste materials, they are carried to the excretory organs, and these waste materials are thrown out of the body. That process is called the excretion. So excretion means the throwing the waste which is generated inside the body out. So this is another life process, that is excretion. So what we have seen, that is nutrition is there, respiration is there, circulation is there, and now excretion. So these are the main life processes for the performance of life activities of human. Now the basic process that we have to see how the nutrition takes place. Nutrition means intake of food material as a source of energy. There are two types of organisms on the earth. Some are autotrophic and some are heterotrophic. Autotrophic means which can prepare their own food material, and heterotrophic means which take the ready-made food material from some other sources. So autotrophic organisms are green plants and some bacteria. Because for manufacturing food material there is a need of a pigment which is called the chlorophyll. This is a green color pigment. While some bacteria also contain the pigments which can trap the light energy and convert it into chemical energy. So these are the two processes, that is autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Now the plants, they take in the food material by manufacturing the food material with the process of photosynthesis. So in the process of photosynthesis, the plants utilize carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. It consumes 12 molecules of water. In presence of sunlight and the pigment chlorophyll which is trapping the light energy, the plants prepare glucose with the liberation of water, and there is a release of oxygen. So one thing is clear here, that the plants give out oxygen, and that oxygen is used by all living organisms for the process of respiration. So the plants take in carbon dioxide and water as a raw material. These are the inorganic compounds, and in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll they prepare organic compound, that is glucose. There is a release of water and there is a release of oxygen. So the plants consume carbon dioxide and use oxygen. So now one thing is clear, that if the plants will not be there, there will be complete storage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and one time will come that we will have to inhale carbon dioxide and we will have to exhale carbon dioxide. So plantation is very important. Plants are the only organisms on the earth which can convert this carbon dioxide into oxygen. So here this process of photosynthesis which we are seeing, this process of photosynthesis is an oxidation reduction process. This is oxidation reduction process. In this process, what happens first? The water molecule undergoes oxidation, and that takes place in presence of sunlight. And when oxidation of water takes place, there is a breakup of water into H and OH ions. Now these H ions, H which is removed, that is consumed by carbon dioxide, which is the reduction process. This is oxidation process, and for reduction Here this hydrogen will be added and there is a formation of water molecule. Because as we define oxidation as removal of hydrogen, removal of hydrogen is oxidation and addition of hydrogen is reduction. So here, what is the role of water? The main role of water is to give hydrogen, because for the formation of glucose there is a need of hydrogen. Carbon is available from carbon dioxide, oxygen is available from carbon dioxide, and what is needed here? Hydrogen. So who will provide hydrogen? Water will provide hydrogen. So without water, the plants cannot survive. And here this light energy, this sunlight which is used is consumed and it is stored in glucose. So in glucose there is a chemical energy. This light energy is converted into chemical energy. But again this chemical energy is not in the usable form. It is to be converted into usable form, and for that we will have to recycle. So this is photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is called the redox reaction, or we can say it is the oxidation or reduction reaction, where carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, chlorophyll, these are the raw materials, and the product is formation of glucose, water and oxygen is released. So primary product of photosynthesis is glucose, and finally all the glucose which is collected, that will be converted into the final product, that is a starch. So starch is the final product, and this starch will be used by the plants as a source of energy, and when these plants and plant materials are consumed by animals, that is used by the animals as a source of energy. Here the process of photosynthesis it completes. So we are talking about the process of photosynthesis which is completed in two phases. One is a light reaction and dark reaction. Light reaction means the processes which are totally dependent on light. And dark reaction means where there is no need of sunlight. So the reduction process, that is conversion of carbon dioxide into glucose, it doesn't need the sunlight, so it is a dark reaction. And here for the splitting of water molecule into H and OH needs sunlight, so this is the light reaction. So in light reaction there is a breakup of water molecule into H and OH ions, that is the oxidation process takes place in sunlight, and the reduction process it doesn't need light, that's why we call this process as a dark reaction. There are certain plants which are the desert plants. So desert plants, their growth is very slow. If the stomata remain open during the daytime, there is a lot of evaporation of water and the plants may die. So these are desert plants, they keep their stomata closed during the daytime and they keep their stomata open during the night time. So those stomata which are open during the night time, they are called the scotoactive, and those in normal condition the stomata remain open during daytime, which are called photoactive. So in desert plants the carbon dioxide is taken in at night hours, and this carbon dioxide is utilized or used up by a compound phosphoenolpyruvic acid, and there is a storage product, that is oxalic acid is formed, and malic acid is formed, oxalic acid is formed, and this increases the acidity in the plant body. And next day, in presence of sunlight, then there is a breakup of this malic acid, and again carbon dioxide is released, and then this carbon dioxide is converted into glucose. So that's why the growth of the desert plant is slow. Now the question is, where from the carbon dioxide enters in the plant? We can take in oxygen through the nose, through the lungs, whereas in plants there are no lungs. So in plants the carbon dioxide enters through the tiny structures or small structures, small openings on the plant surface, and these are called stomata. So stomata one stoma and many stomata. Stomata are the tiny structures which are present on the leaf mainly, and these stomatal pores, these are guarded by two kidney-shaped cells which are called guard cells. These cells are called guard cells. Why we call them guard cells? Because they guard the opening and closing of stomach. The guard cells has a specific feature that the inner wall of the guard cell, this is kidney shaped, generally in dipods, and in monopod it is dumbbell shaped. So here the inner wall of the guard cell is thick and it is non-elastic, while its outer wall is thin and elastic. Outside this there are present certain specialized parenchyma cells which are called as subsidiary cells. These are called as subsidiary cells. And through these openings, the carbon dioxide enters and the oxygen comes out, because the plants during photosynthesis they take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. So this exchange of gases in plants takes place through this stomatal pore. This stomatal pore, it is wide open during the daytime. During daytime, when the guard cells are full of water, they swell. That is, they become turgid. And when they become turgid, the turgidity open the stomata. And this takes place during daytime. At night, there is no need of carbon dioxide because sunlight is not available. And as sunlight is not available, there is no need of carbon dioxide. So at night, the stomatal pore get closed because the guard cells they become flaccid. That is, they shrink. They lose water. And as they shrink at night, the stomatal pore get closed. At night, the stomata are closed. During daytime, the stomata are open. So these are the small openings which are present on the surface of the basically the leaf, and through this the exchange of gases takes place. So this is all about the photosynthesis, the autotrophic nutrition, another type of nutrition that is heterotrophic and human nutrition. We shall see in the next class in the next week. Okay, thanks.